Hi there guys, and welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. My name is James, and today we're going to go ahead and sit down and talk to you guys about fantasy football. That's right, something I've never ever discussed on this channel before is fantasy football. Normally it's exclusively down to the Premier League, something up and down every single workplace, every single July and August is the talk of fantasy football. Everybody's talking about what teams they're going to create in the Premier League, and they all get hyped up for the season, and come September, October time, most people have already dropped out of their league. They don't update their transfers and kind of just get a little bit bored of it. Now, my personal experience is I get a little bit bored of it because I don't care too much about the Premier League. I care about the EFL. I care about where my football club is. And something that the EFL have done is they've gone ahead and jumped on the bandwagon of fantasy football and created their own. That's right, Fantasy EFL is the brand new game that has just been released. Throughout this video, we're going to go ahead and talk about kind of what you can do in Fantasy EFL. We'll talk about the starting lineups. We'll talk about the process for points, and we'll go through my team. Now, something throughout this year on the channel, we're going to talk about Fantasy EFL quite a bit. And if you want to go ahead and join our league, I'll go ahead and leave the code on screen now. It'll also be in the description and in the comments. I'll also leave a link to the website for Fantasy EFL. I know you can download an app as well, and there's multiple ways that you can go ahead and create your team. So we'll go ahead and drop that in the description, the comments, and on the screen. Should be on the screen by now as well. Now, we'll go ahead and talk about Fantasy EFL, and as you can see, we'll move to the laptop now. And as you can see from the introduction, you can see that Fantasy EFL is where you can compete by creating your own team of 7 players and 2 clubs across 3 EFL divisions each week, who will score points based on their actual performances during the regular EFL season. Below is a step-by-step guide on how to play, including registration, creating your team, scoring, and everything else you need to know to get going. Now, we'll skip the registration and login. We'll go to team creation though, because it's something that's very important, something that's a little bit different compared to your normal fantasy football of picking 11 or 15 players, is that you'll only be able to pick 7 players, but you'll also be able to pick 2 clubs. This is going to come across from any 3 EFL divisions, and it will be built from the following positions. You'll be able to select 1 goalkeeper, 2 or 3 defenders, 2 or 3 midfielders, or 1 or 2 strikers. Now, you've got the option to choose out of 3 formations, whether that's a 1-2-2-2, a 1-2-3-1, or a 1-3-2-1. You can change your formation by removing a player from one position and adding in another player from another position. For example, your current formation, set by default, is a 1-2-2-2, whereas you can remove 1 forward, filter the position to midfielders, and be able to change it to a 1-2-3-1. Now, there's no restrictions on how many times you can select an individual player over the course of the season, but you can only select a maximum of 2 players from any 1 club each game week. So, for example, we'll take that through Reading. If you were to select Sam Smith and Harvey Nibbs, you wouldn't be able to select Femi Aziz. You can only select 2 players from each club. Now, you can select an individual club a maximum of 5 times over the course of the season. Now, I know that Birmingham City will be a club that will be probably selected quite a lot over the course of the season. They're somebody that are real red-hot favourites, in my opinion, to win the League One title. Now, you can't just cheese your way the whole way through the season and exclusively select Birmingham as one of the 2 clubs that can pick you up points. Now, you can only select them 5 times over the course of the entire season. Now, you can add players to your team by pressing the plus icon next to any available player on the player pool, and you can remove players from your team by pressing the remove button located on the player profile or by clicking the X next to the player pool. Now, for your captain, each game week you must select a captain who will score double points for your team. Realistically, I'm not going to go too much into more detail from that, as if we're being honest, selecting a captain is just like fantasy football in the Premier League One. Now, team rollover. Your team will roll over onto the next game week automatically, meaning that you will always have a scoring team if you don't make any changes, assuming that your players are selected to play by their clubs. If upon your team rolling over, it means if you will exceed the 5 selection cap on one of your clubs, then we will randomly auto-replace this club with another. Now, for the people that get bored and stop playing fantasy football after a while, then that's where they will automatically select these players/clubs for you. Now, the chips, there's only 1 chip in this fantasy football, and that is Max Captain. And the Max Captain will score twice the amount of points that the normal captain would. And this can be played twice throughout the season. Now, the scoring system is something that's going to be very important to a lot of people in this video, and the scoring system will appear on screen now. As you can see, for an appearance played up to 59 minutes, you'll get 1 point. For 60 plus minutes, you'll get 2 points. For any assist, you'll get 3 points. For a hat-trick, you'll get 5 points. For a missed penalty is -3. For a yellow card is -1, and for a red card is -3. Now, specifically for goalkeepers, for every 3 saves, you'll get +2 points, and for every penalty save, you'll get +3. For goalkeepers and defenders, for clean sheets, if you've played over 60 minutes, you'll get 5 points. For every goal scored, you'll get 7. For every 2 goals conceded, you'll get a -1. Now, for your defenders, for every 3 clearances, they get 1 point. Every 2 blocks, they get 1. And for every 2 successful tackles, they get 1. For the midfielders, every interception will get 2 points. And for every goal scored, you'll get 6 points. For your midfielders and forwards, for every 2 key passes, you get a point. And for every 2 shots on target, you also get a point. And finally, for forwards, for every goal scored, you'll get 5 points. Now, when you take a look at that, to me, it reminds me very much of the Euro 2024 fantasy football, or just in general, the Euro/World Cup fantasy footballs, where for individual performances, you also get points based off that. That then means that there's more of a wider selection for players, so defensive midfielders, players like that won't get neglected. As normally it's just the attacking players in the midfield that you'll get, because you know that they will score you more points. So it's good to see that they're able to include that, as it really opens up a wide possibility for the selections that you can make. Now, for the clubs scoring points, it will follow the following metrics. For every win, you'll get 5 points. Every draw, you'll get 3 points. Every away win, you get an additional 2 points. For every clean sheets, you get an additional 2 points too. And for 2+ goals scored, you'll also get an additional 2 points. Now, every game week will run from Thursday to Wednesday, meaning during the regular season. To see when the next game week begins, you can select My Team and look for the countdown at the top of the page. If clubs are given more than 1 fixture in any game week, any players or clubs you have from the team playing twice will earn 2 sets of points, assuming that the player plays in both fixtures. Any team captains playing in 2 fixtures will also earn double the points for each match that they play in. If you have selected players and/or clubs that don't have a fixture for whatever reason they do not play, they will score 0 points for that game week. Now, that's the rules and kind of how you can set it up and stuff like that. It's actually really interesting for me, and actually it's really exciting as I'm really looking forward to playing this Fantasy EFL. Now, this is the team that so far that I've gone with to start off with. Obviously, you'll be able to pick whatever team you like, but in goal, I've started with Nathan Baxter from Bolton. We've then got Mark Roberts and Sean Raggett as my 2 defenders. Sariki Dembele and William Williamson from Birmingham are my 2 midfielders. But finally, for my strikers, I've got Johnson Clark-Harris from Rotherham and Aaron Collins from Bolton. Now, that's the team that I've selected. You can select any team that you want. Personally, I'm going to be sticking with League One for the entire season, or at least I'm going to try to, just to fit in with the channel and stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, my league is down below. I'll leave a link and I'll leave the code as well to the league if you want to go ahead and join. And yeah, I think it will be a real fun time for us throughout this season. That's going to be it for this video today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. My name's been James, and yeah, please feel free to subscribe if you want, Fantasy EFL updates throughout this season. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.